Hi, and welcome to the purpose video on, we're doing Gemini and Sagittarius for this video. And if you haven't watched the main video that I created about your purpose, I highly suggest that you go there first and watch that video so you can have a better understanding of what the North Node and South Node are. So right now we're going to be talking about Gemini and Sagittarius. And Gemini and Sagittarius are opposite signs. Now, just like the other planets, the other signs, each one has a planet. So everything that I tell you right now, it's not going to resonate mainly with everybody. It's just a general message for me to get it out there so that people have an idea of where to start. Because knowing your purpose is not something that you just, you watch one video and then you know what your purpose is. That's not how it works. What you have to do is you have to learn exactly where the signs are in your chart and where the nodes are and what planets are aspecting the nodes so that you can get an actual full story of what your purpose is and how that all works out. And my goal throughout all these videos is to take my time to go through each and every sign and discuss what are some of the things to expect in learning about this stuff. So let's get started. Now, like I said, if you haven't watched the first video on the purpose, the main video, there's a main video, Find Your Purpose. Everybody should watch that first before they come here. Another thing I want to mention before I jump into the information that I have for you. The other thing that I want to mention is I'm not talking about sun signs. So if you're a Gemini or you're a Sagittarius, this may not apply to you because you could be a sun Cancer or a sun Virgo or a sun Scorpio and have the North Node in Gemini or Sagittarius, right? So it's highly critical that you get that information first before you go through all the other videos to get more information, okay? So when we're talking about the nodes, we're talking about the destiny. So the North Node is a destiny, as I mentioned in the other video. If you have a North Node in Gemini, then it means that you're learning to communicate in this life. In this life, you may be required to learn different languages or to communicate with people differently, or you might be in broadcasting, or you might do something in publishing. So depending on where it sits in your chart is how this is going to act out, right? I'm not going to go through every single house and talk about the North Node in every single house because that would take way too long. This is going to be a very short video, okay? So Gemini is the communication sign. It's ruled by Mercury. So you will be, if your North Node is in Gemini, you are required to communicate. Communication is very important for you. If the South Node is in Gemini, then it means that you've acquired communication skills in the last life. My mother actually has the South Node in Gemini and she knows 5 languages. And it's extremely easy for her to communicate with people. It's extremely easy for her to acquire new languages. And that's just something that, she brought in with her into another life. She's very good at communicating. Now, what would it mean if you had the South Node in Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius is the sign of travel. It rules the 9th house. So traveling and, visiting foreign countries and expanding your horizons is what Sagittarius is all about. Sagittarius is a fire sign. So, it's ruled by Jupiter. So anything it touches, it expands. So that means that if you have let's say you have the North Node, like my mother in Sagittarius, then you're going to be asked to travel and expand your local community. And one of the things that I found with my mother, which made her North Node so challenging, because your North Node is something that you're striving towards. It's not something that you're going to be comfortable doing, but once you do it, it's going to open up your South Node, because your South Node is closed off. Your South Node is basically closed off, and it won't, it's difficult for you to experience your self nod. Like you can experience it. My mom speaks her languages all the time, but it won't be as fulfilling because those languages that she knows, the likelihood of her communicating those foreign languages where she lives is rare, right? Because there's a general language. Like for example, where I live, we mainly speak English, right? Whereas, let's say Spanish, if we're speaking Spanish, the likelihood of there being Spanish people here is going to be a lot slimmer than if she traveled, let's say, like somewhere in South America. So, what your North Node does is the North Node in Sagittarius pushes you out. It pushes you out and it says, go and experience, fly somewhere. And what ended up happening with my mother is that she ended up getting a job at the airport, and she used to come home. She still does this. She comes home and she says, "Oh, I was sitting down in the airport and I saw the planes flying and I was so fascinated." So here's the thing with the North Node is that it's so powerful that it almost pulls you in. But then there's a fear. There's usually a fear, and it could be a fear like, society might put a fear on you where society's like, like 9/11 happened. So everybody's like freaking out and they're like, oh, I don't want to go on a plane because, the plane might, it might blow up or something, or something can malfunction, or maybe something happens with the pilot. Like anything can happen, right? So anywhere where your North Node is, there's a bit of a fear, okay? But you shouldn't be concerned about that fear, because once you accomplish whatever's in your North Node, it opens up whatever you want for your South Node. So hypothetically, if my mother was to travel somewhere to South America, she would use her South Node skills a lot more than if she was here, because now she's expanding her horizons, and she can communicate her languages. She can utilize her skills more. So there's something that pushes you, like when you focus more on your North Node, something's pushing you in your South Node to express what's in your South Node, because you don't come into this life with the skills that you already have through the South Node not to use them. It's just that you're going to be pushed to use the skills that you haven't acquired. And once you've acquired those, like traveling on a plane, then the universe says, okay, now we're going to open up this area for you. Now you can utilize these skills that you have. So expanding your community, because Gemini rules the local community. It's the local, your neighbors, your siblings, the people that are closest to you on a day-to-day basis. Whereas Sagittarius is talking about the whole world. It's talking about traveling to foreign countries, experiencing culture, expanding your knowledge in these cultures, expanding your knowledge just in everything that you can expand your knowledge in outside of your realm of what you're used to. So let's take a look at if you have the South Node in Sagittarius. If you had the South Node in Sagittarius, it means that you're being asked to become more familiarized with your local community, with your siblings, being able to communicate better, being able to express yourself through languages, through writing, through broadcasting, through publishing. So depending on where it is in your chart, it's just the opposite. So now we're flipping it around. So instead of traveling and expanding your culture through Sagittarius with Jupiter, you're going to be doing that with Gemini. You're going to be doing that. You're going to be doing the North Node with Gemini. So you may find it challenging to learn languages. You may find it challenging to communicate. You may find it challenging to publish something or get on TV or broadcast something. Or maybe you don't really get along with your siblings and you have to develop that skill. Do you see how everything that you're experiencing with the North Node is a challenge, whereas everything with the South Node, you've already acquired an innate skill that has come to you in another life? And this is why a lot of the times I think a lot of people are confused about their purpose, because we live in a world where we're distracted all the time. We're distracted by, what this person's good at. And you think, well, when you look at somebody who you might think, Oh, she has a better bum than me. She has a better face than me. Oh, he looks stronger than me. Oh, he gets more girls than me. Oh, he has more money than me. We look at these things and we think we start to feel empty. And it's like, you don't need to feel empty about that. There's skills that you have that you need to be able to say, okay, I'm going to learn about myself more. I'm going to learn about the skills that I have and the skills that I need to work on. So in this case, whether you're a North Node Sag or a North Node Gemini, look at the characteristics of what Gemini is and look at the characteristics of what Sagittarius is and learn how to balance these two together. Okay, so I hope this message really resonated with somebody out there. I'm sure somebody thinks that this message is great and it can really help them. I'm going to be doing more videos on the North Nodes depending on how many people are interested in this area, because I felt a need to do these videos because there are people out there that are a little confused about their, where they're going, what's, what they're doing in their life and their purpose. So I thought I would do videos like this, and I'm going to be doing more. So I highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel, like and comment, and it helps me connect with you more, and it helps me get a better idea of what's effective, what's not effective, what I should be putting out there and what I shouldn't be putting out there. Either way, I'm going to be putting things out there, like everything, just so that hopefully it can help somebody. Even if it only helps a few people, it's better to help a few people than to help nobody. So thank you very much, Gemini or Sag, North or South Node, whichever one you are, and I look forward to doing more videos for you. Okay, bye.